Look at you, staring at green and red lines on your phone like they're a Rorschach test. You want to invest, do you? You want to be a Wall Street? Please. You're barely a hamster of a cul-de-sac. The stock market isn't a magic money tree, and it isn't a playground for billionaires to laugh at you, though they do that anyway. It's actually very simple. It's a giant, noisy room where people buy and sell slices of businesses. Imagine a giant pizza. This pizza is a company, let's call it Megacorp. Megacorp makes the best widgets in the world, but the owner wants to build more widget factories and he doesn't have the cash. So he cuts his company, the pizza, into a million tiny crumbs. He sells those crumbs to idiots like you. When you buy a stock, you are buying one of those crumbs. Congratulations. You're now a shareholder. That's a fancy word for part owner. You own a microscopic piece of the ovens, the trucks, and the CEO's mahogany desk. Why would you do this? Two reasons: dividends and growth. Dividends are simple. When Megacorp makes a profit at the end of the year, they decide to share the wealth. They send you a thank you check for owning that crumb. It's like the pizza guy giving you a free pepperoni every month just for being a fan. Growth is different. Growth is when Megacorp becomes world famous. Suddenly everyone wants a piece of that pizza, but there are only so many crumbs to go around. Since you bought your crumb early when nobody cared, you can now sell it to some other guy for 10 times what you paid. That's buy low, sell high. It's a concept most of you fail at because you do the exact opposite. So why does the market go up and down like a caffeinated toddler? Because of supply and demand. The stock market is basically a giant mood ring for the world's collective anxiety. If people think the future looks bright, they get greedy and buy. Prices go up. If a war starts, or a CEO gets caught doing something illegal, or everyone suddenly decides they hate widgets, people get scared. They sell their crumbs. Prices crash. The market doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about earnings and expectations. If a company makes more money than people expected, the line goes up. If they fail, the line goes down. Now, pay attention, because this is where you usually commit financial suicide. Most of you treat this like a slot machine. You buy a stock because a guy on the internet with a backwards hat told you it's going to the moon. That's not investing. That's gambling with extra steps. You're obsessed with timing the market. You idiot. You think you're smart enough to jump in right before the line goes up and jump out before it goes down. Ha! Obviously you're not. Even the professionals with supercomputers get it wrong. The secret to winning isn't timing the market, it's time in the market. Why does holding for 30 years mean you win? Because of the two most powerful forces in the universe, compounding and math. When you hold a stock for decades, you aren't just waiting for the price to go up. You're taking those pepperoni dividends they gave you and using them to buy more crumbs. Those new crumbs then earn their own dividends, which buy even more crumbs. It's a snowball rolling down a mountain. At first, it's a pathetic little ice ball. 30 years later, it's an avalanche that can flatten a village. Furthermore, the up and down nonsense that makes you panic, over 30 years, that's just noise. If you zoom in on a heart monitor, it looks like a mountain range of chaos. If you zoom out, it's just a steady pulse. The global economy has been collapsing every decade for a century, yet the line keeps moving from the bottom left to the top right. If you try to dance in and out of the market, you will inevitably miss the 5 best days of the year. And if you miss those 5 days, your returns get cut in half. You're literally paying a stupidity tax for being impatient. Inflation, you have to own things that produce value. A savings account produces nothing but dust. A business produces products, jobs, and profit. The secret is to buy good companies, and then this is the hard part. Do absolutely nothing. Hold them while the rest of the world panics. Hold them while the news tells you the sky is falling. If you can sit on your hands for 30 years without pressing the button like a panicked primate, you win. But that requires patience, and you lot have the attention span of a goldfish on a bender. Class dismissed. Go buy a crumb, or keep your money in a mattress. I don't care. Get out.